Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. It's the Pro Bowlers Tour, the 7th stop in the 1967 PBA series. This is an ABC sports exclusive featuring the world's top professional bowlers in competition. From the Bolero Lanes in Wauwatosa, a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, ABC Sports brings you the exciting final rounds of the Miller High Life Open, another great tournament in the Professional Bowlers Association's 1967 tour. Right now, the 5 tournament leaders are down on the lanes, completing their practice throws live and awaiting the start of the competition. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel, happy to be in the state of Wisconsin, where the temperature is around 0 or a little bit below. This is our 7th stop in 13 tournaments throughout the 1967 early bowling season, where we give away a total of over $800,000 in those 13 PBA tournaments. Today, it's the $60,000 Miller High Life Open Live. And the winner today will get $10,000, and you'll see it right here on ABC television. ABC will be happy to present one of the 5 bowlers who will be competing today with an additional check of $10,000 should he be able to bowl a perfect or 300 game. So right now, let's meet the 5 tournament leaders who are all competing for the top prize in today's Miller High Life Open. In the number 5 position, bowling first today, is Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, California. He will meet the tournament's 4th-ranked bowler, Bud Horn, also of Los Angeles. Now, the winner of this first game between Bud Horn and Bill Tucker will challenge the number 3 bowler, Bob Knipple of Long Beach, California. The winner of this match will challenge the number 2 man in the tournament, Dick Weber of St. Louis, who's won more titles than them all. And the winner of that semifinal game with Dick Weber will bowl for first place money against the tournament leader, Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona, 4-time champion, back-to-back victories this year, and he is the leading money winner. Here's a fellow that always earns money on the PBA Tour, and we, of course, always welcome him back each Saturday in the various cities that we stop in. The Masters All-Star champion, Billy Waylow. Billy?
Thank you, Chris, and we've really got a great match brewing today. Dick Weber's anxious to get back at Dave Davis. Dave beat him twice during the match play and in the position round last night, Chris, and I know he really wants another shot at him bad, but 3 young Californians stand in the way, so it's going to really be exciting to see.
Billy, there's a little unusual aspect here. As you say, we have 3 from California, we have 1 from Arizona, and 1 native of the Midwest. How do you account for these West Coasters doing so well?
Well, I think they must like the weather here, Chris. 15 below.
Billy, our 1967 format allows the number 5 bowler, in this case, Bill Tucker. Should he be able to win the matches as you see on our bracketing board, he can go all the way and win the Miller High Life Open. Once again, let's set those final rounds. As you see, Bill Tucker and Bud Horn, our 5th and 4th ranked bowlers in the tournament, will meet in the very first game. Now, the winner of this match will attempt to bowl his way past Bob Knipple in 3rd place, Dick Weber in 2nd place, and finally meet Dave Davis, the tournament leader for the championship. Bud Horn, Bill Tucker, with the handshake. And now live from Wauwatosa, it'll be Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, the 39-year-old married bowler, a veteran of the PBA Tour. He has 1 championship to his credit, that in San Jose in 1965. Using the pair 61 and 62, here's the first stroke. Well, Bill Tucker, an auspicious way to start, as he leaves the 6, 7, and 10. So, Billy Waylow, there must be a way that this can be converted.
And, Chris, there we see the 6, the 7, and the 10. He's got to go to the right of the 6 and slide the 6 over to the 7. Then the ball will take out the 10.
All right, now back live on lane 61. Tucker will attempt just that. Oh, so very close. He left the 7 standing, so that means that he has an open frame in the first.
There you see, he catches too much of the 6 pin. It goes behind the 7.
ABC stop action as we look at Bud Horn, also from Los Angeles. Came up high on the head pin and left the 4. Billy?
As so often happens, Chris, the first shot on television under this much pressure for this much money, the boys have a tendency to be a little slow, and this is only human. They don't want to start too fast and then lose their gait. It's awful easy to lose it when you start out too fast.
28 years old, going for the 4-pin. And a spare for Bud Horn of Los Angeles, a 6-year veteran of the PBA Tour, and he won his first tournament in Dallas, Texas last year, winning $15,255 on the tour. This year he's cashed in 4 of the 7 PBA stops. Going now for his first strike. Left the 4-7, as you see. The Miller High Life Open, live from Wauwatosa.
Chris, here he moves to the right on the approach, angles the ball cross lane.
So the bachelor from Los Angeles, California, gets a rest while Bill Tucker, also a Californian, will try to come back following an open frame in the very first. He's shooting on lane 62. Pocket hit and a strike.
Interesting styles here, Chris. Bill Tucker is more like Jim St. John. He's a finesse bowler, where Bud Horn is of the power era. He has a lot more leverage.
And speaking of Jim St. John, you see him seated there at the right of your screen. He finished 6th in the tournament, and he is the alternate. Let's watch the footwork of Bill Tucker.
Very smooth, Chris.
Little high, leaving the 4-7.
He was looking for the trip 4-7 there, which Pete Tanos did very well this week. Again. Ball's breaking a little sharp for him on lane 61, Chris.
You're looking at the All-Star champion of 1961, Bill Tucker, 4-7. A spare for Bill Tucker in the 3rd frame. And now, Bud Horn, who is marked with 2 spares, shoots in the 3rd. 6 feet 1, 190 pounds. And for Bud Horn, one of the popular guys on the tour, it's his first strike coming in the 3rd frame.
And it gives him a 9-pin lead, Chris. Chance to increase it to 19.
This is the first match live from Wisconsin. The Miller Open. 10,000 the winner. 5 if you finish second. Bud Horn left the 4-7. This is the 3rd time that this has happened on lane 61. And incidentally, speaking of the $10,000, Bill Tucker finished 5th in the tournament, Bud Horn 4th, Bob Knipple 3rd, Dick Weber 2nd, and Dave Davis 1st. This is the first match, and you'll see all of those great bowlers live from Wauwatosa. So it's a spare for Bud Horn of Los Angeles. Bill Tucker trails by 9 pins as he's ready to shoot in the 4th frame of this first match live from Wauwatosa. Leaving the 6-10.
Chris, they had a great battle last night in the position round game between Bill Tucker, Jim Godman, and Jim St. John for this final spot. It went right down to the 10th frame. Bill Tucker needed a mark, and he got it. There you see, to the extreme left, the angle into the 6-10. Very happy with that shot. He laid it a little close, and the ball hooked for him, and he made it on the outside.
Really, it's fellows like Bill Tucker that people come to see. And, of course, I'm sure on the home screen you enjoy getting a good look at very pretty Mrs. Bill Tucker from Los Angeles. Everything but the 4-pin on lane 61.
Chrissy's been high 3 consecutive times on lane 61. the pattern here for the entire house has been that the odd lane hooks a little more than the even lane.
Somewhat cross lane, a bit to the right of center, going for the 4-pin. Bill Tucker marking with the spare in the 5th frame. And now Bud Horn working on a spare, shooting in the 5th. He uses about 3/4 of the approach. Maybe more like 7/8. Ooh. And he's left with the 3-10 split. You recall Bill Tucker opened in the 1st frame as a result of the 6-7-10. And now Bud Horn has his first opportunity to convert one, the 3-10.
There you see, to the extreme left on the approach, the angle in between the 6 and the 3 and the 10, trying to hit the 6-pin.
Beautiful job.
There you see, in the triggered position, very low, and this gives him maximum leverage in the release of the ball, full power, and there you see him bending very low, crouched like a tiger.
ABC stop action helps many of you bowlers, I'm sure, as we're back live with Bud Horn. Almost the pocket, leaving the 4-7. Bud's best finish this year was 15th in Toledo last week, where the PBA had another successful tournament, and here in Wauwatosa, the Miller Open has been fantastic. In fact, a record-breaking Pro-Am here in Wauwatosa, Billy.
Right, Chris. We had over 500 entries in the Pro-Am, 503 amateur entries, and it seems like we're breaking a record every week now, Chris. This is really wonderful to see.
Bill Tucker, live, trailing by 8 pins, working on a spare, the 10-pin. When you speak of the Pro-Am, our statistician, 10-time PBA winner Harry Smith, and his partner Shorty Sorensen won the Pro-Am, and since little 3-year-old Timmy Smith, Harry's son, is having a birthday today, I believe Shorty, Harry's amateur partner, contributed with a nifty birthday check of a couple of $100.
He really did. And Harry was very happy, and so was Shorty, too.
Sure. Bill Tucker giving us a long look up here, indicating that he is not satisfied with the way he's bowling at the moment. He opened, then a strike, and then 4 spares. Now he is shooting in the 7th. You must win in order to move along in our format. The winner will meet Bob Knipple. The winner of that match will meet Dick Weber. And then the winner of the semifinal will meet the tournament leader. Strike.
Chris, he gave that ball about 2 more boards, arc to the right, and brought him into the pocket perfectly. There you see Bud Horn, 9 pins in the lead.
Working on a spare. Everything but the 4-pin. Next week, it's the Ebonite Open at the Edison Lanes in New Jersey, Billy.
And I've already been informed that we're liable to break the amateur entry again next week, Chris.
This is probably a reflection of the increased interest in bowling among amateurs, among folks like myself, because everywhere we go, people, as a result of this telecast, are starting to bowl. Friends in Detroit and everywhere go out bowling after the telecast. Well, we hope you learned a lot today from...
He went with a little more speed that time.
And, of course, if you lay it down like Bud Horn did, you'll come up with a strike, too. That coming in the 8th frame. Jim St. John, the alternate, is watching. Jim St. John, the number 2 money winner with $15,130. With you, we'll watch Bill Tucker trying to double here. He does.
Real cute little shot, Chris. To keep the ball from hooking, he's staying directly behind it now, getting that straightforward roll. Takes the lead for the first time in the match. Bill Tucker's now leading by 2, and he can increase it to 12.
The ABC doubles champion of 1958, 39-year-old Bill Tucker. Can he make it 3 in a row? Listen to the youngsters with the old, leaving the 6-10.
He was very lucky there, Chris. He laid a ball short again. When he made the strike before, he swung the ball beautifully. Laying it short and too direct, the ball went to the nose. He was fortunate it broke enough to the Brooklyn side so he didn't get the split.
He's on the left now, going for the 6-10. And that's the second time today he's had to shoot it. He does it, marking with a spare in the ninth. Now, Bud Horn, shooting in the ninth, working on a strike.
Chris, the match is all even. Bud Horn, a strike up, has a chance to take the lead by 10.
The 4-pin. If he only had the success at tripping 4s, like Billy Waylew and Pete Thomas.
Well, Andy Marsich left the tour, so we've got an open field on it now, Chris.
The equivalent for a left-hander would be the 6-pin, right?
That's right. Chris, as we head for the final frame, the match is all even.
The very first match of our live telecast, the 7th stop on the PBA tour, all even, heading for the 10th frame. There you see it, 153 all.
Both have a spare up, so count is the big factor.
Came up very high and left the 3-6-10. Bud Horn of Los Angeles, bowling a fellow Californian in Bill Tucker. The winner will then go on to meet Bob Knipple of Long Beach. The winner of the Knipple match will bowl Dick Weber. The winner of the Weber match will bowl the tournament leader for 10 grand.
Chris, this is very difficult spare.
Ooh, and he chops the 3 and leaves the 6-10. So the door is wide open now for Bill Tucker, the 39-year-old veteran from Los Angeles.
That's such a difficult spare, Chris, with a big hook ball. The ball can break ever so sharply in front of that 3-6 and leave the 10. That time broke so sharp he took the 3 altogether out.
Bud Horn with a 178. Averting a 5-7 and a twinge on that upper left side of the anatomy for Bill Tucker.
Chris, I have to give him a lot of credit for his boldness there. The one thing that he wanted to do was to keep that ball light into the pocket. He could have afforded any kind of pocket split and had an open frame and still won the match.
Right.
He did not want to go to the nose with that ball and get a 6-pin split.
Right. Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, California, in this first match live. Here comes the conceding handshake from Bud Horn to Bill Tucker, and it's a big 192 for Bill Tucker to 178 for Bud Horn here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. A 192 to 178 victory by Bill Tucker of Los Angeles has advanced him one bracket. He now, live, goes against Bob Knipple of Long Beach, California. For Bud Horn, finishing 5th, $1,600. And now bowling first is Bobby Knipple, 24 years old, married, 5'7", 135 pounds. Right on the head pin, leaving the 6-10. He almost won his first tournament this year in San Jose, where he finished second to Jim St. John, who finished 6th in the Miller Open. There you see Knipple now, 6-10. A spare for Knipple. His first action here this afternoon live. And Bill Tucker, who won 192 to 178 over Bud Horn, shoots now on lane 62. Strike. Bill Tucker.
Shows a little confidence now there. I noticed the fill ball in the first game. He experimented a little bit with it, and maybe he learned something, went to school off that shot.
Now he'll try to double on lane 61, second frame. Left to 610. And in the first game, he did that 2 or 3 times. By now, he should have a lot of practice in covering those 2 pins as you look at them.
The danger here, Chris, is the ball hooking again and picking off the 6, leaving the 10.
Well, he made sure of it this time. Plenty of wood, both pins. Now we have Bobby Knipple. Three-year member of the PBA. First year, he's made an extended tour. Powerful. Bobby Knipple with his first strike. He was working on a spare, shooting in the second.
He concentrated very well on the bench, Chris, between the first and second frames. First frame, he laid the ball very short. That time he had a long reach, good follow-through.
The winner of this match will meet 17-time winner Dick Weber. And it's a double for Bob Knipple. ABC stop action.
There you see, Chris. Now, as he sets himself, the weight of that ball in the swing, he's crouched into the leverage position, and there you see the release. Arm swing.
Bill Tucker. High, and the 6-pin remains. Bill Tucker trailing by 11 pins here in the second match in the Miller Open. So it's a spare in the third frame for Bill Tucker. Mrs. Tucker watching.
I wished we weren't going east this week, Chris. I'd love to go down there with you. I had about 12, 13 wonderful years in St. Louis.
High again. And it's the 4, the 6, and the 10.
Chris, on this shot, since the angle of the 4 and the 6 is straight across, he will try and go for the 6-10, use a little more speed, and hope that the 6 will kick out. There you see.
So for Bill Tucker in his match against Bob Knipple, it is an open frame in the fourth. The Miller Open live. Bob Knipple now going for 3 in a row. Out turkey for Bob Knipple of Long Beach, California.
Chris, there's that great follow-through in the business ball, as we call it. He's one of the best track players on the tour today. Very little hook, all forward roll. He called his backer last night. Little body English. Very pleased.
And without Beatle music or...
Another good... In fact, 2 good, Chris.
A 4-pin for Bob Knipple. He opened with a spare, bowled 3 strikes, and now, to get a spare, must knock down the 4-pin on lane 61. Off on the right, you hear the thunder of pins, and it's Dick Weber and Dave Davis warming up for their battles. Actually, Weber can only be involved with battles, plural. He finished second. He will meet the winner of this match, and the winner of the Weber match will then meet the tournament leader, who only has to bowl 1 game to win it all, Dave Davis. Tucker trying to recover following an open frame. The 5-pin lane 62. Next Saturday afternoon, the $50,000 Ebonite PBA Open from the Edison Lanes in New Jersey. And the Buffalo Open, the Tampa Bay Sertoma Open, the Mobile Sertoma Open, and then the Firestone Tournament of Champions. A spare for Bill Tucker in the fifth of the second match. Bud Horn was downed 192 to 178 in the first match against this fellow. Horn, as a result, finishes fifth in the Miller Open and earns $1,600. The loser of this match will earn $2,000. The winner, of course, will go against Dick Weber. Well, there we have the 4-7-10 here on lane 61. Billy?
Chris, the opposite side of the lane as the 6-7-10, we have the 4 now has to slide into the 10. He'll try and make the ball come to the left of the 4, slide it into the 10, and the ball go and get the 7.
Let's watch it live. Bill Tucker has his second Open in the 3 last frames. Bob Knipple, shooting in the 6th, working on a spare.
Chris, he's down by 48 pins. Bobby's got a pretty comfortable lead here.
Bobby Knipple gets his 4th strike in 6 frames. Knipple, who finished second in San Jose this year. Thus far, on the tour, Bobby has won $2,900 this year.
Sort of the Cinderella young player, Chris. The boys love him. He's just colorful. In that locker room, he's got us all laughing.
Double, Bob Knipple. Now Bill Tucker, who must really string him. Trailing by 58 pins in this second match live. Well, there's one. That strike coming in the 7th frame. It's only his second of the second match. He won his first over Bud Horn, 192 to 178.
Bill's best possible score, if he can strike out all the way, would be 211. Right now, Bobby Knipple's rolling along at 229, so Bill's really got to hope for the best, and he got the worst.
Got the worst of 4-6. That's an awful-looking pair of pins. 4-6.
A lot of miles in between those two pins.
So it is the 3rd Open in the last 5 frames for unfortunate Bill Tucker. As you can see, Bob Knipple of Long Beach, California, has an extremely comfortable lead over Bill Tucker, a 72-pin lead. Let's watch this 24-year-older now. Full approach. Left the 3-pin. Many of the youngsters here are pulling for Bob Knipple, and there are many reasons for it. He's very popular. He has youth on his side.
He called his backer last night, Chris, Fred Giovanetti in Bakersfield, and hoped that he could fly in today, but he couldn't. But he told me Fred is watching that television set and really going to be pulling for him.
In other words, many of the professionals on the tour, Billy, do have backers.
Yes, they do, Chris. Young player, you know, just coming out of school like this, maybe has only had a part-time job or something, doesn't have enough of a nest egg to get out on the tour, and they need a sponsor or a backer.
Billy, I was wondering why you didn't send me my 60% since I'm your backer.
Chris, I'm just waiting in the wings. If I had your money, I could throw all of mine away.
Oh, yes. Bob Knipple. Boy, he put a little speed on that ball.
And he'd really like to win today because he's not yet eligible for Firestone.
Now Bill Tucker of Los Angeles. And he gets his third strike in 9 frames here in the second match live from Wauwatosa. Is he and expert Joe Brooks fish for marlin off the coast of Mexico? American sportsman in color tomorrow afternoon following the NBA game of the week. St. Louis hosting Boston. I'd like to know when Bing Crosby finds time to go fishing and hunting.
He's a man of many talents.
Mucho dinero, is that what they say?
Well, he's got that too.
Dick Weber is the man that will bowl the winner of this match, and there he is. Waiting. And a disappointing, faint smile on the face of likable Bill Tucker, the veteran from Los Angeles, as Bob Knipple has his right heel actually off the approach as he goes to the line. High, the 610.
Young player, just been out on the tour less than a year, Chris. Really showed the boys a lot of class. Very cool for 24. And he'd like to win very badly to get a taste of that Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Bob Knipple, he is bowling Bill Tucker, who finished with a 157.
You know, the most nervous thing for Bob Knipple on the show today is worrying about what he might say when you interview him. You know, when you interviewed him at San Jose, he wasn't given to a great dialogue, and he's been rehearsing his lines.
And there's the handshake. Bobby Knipple rolling a 225 to Tucker's 157, advances. Who is practicing, you see a family. Dr. Howard and his family. They happen to be, well, it's the brother of our chief producer, Chuck Howard, of ABC Television Sports. And I'm sure glad to see them here. There you see Bob Knipple has advanced by downing Bill Tucker, who won his first match over Bud Horn. Knipple now goes against the competitive champion Dick Weber in the third match. And to make it even more important, the winner of this match will then go to the finals, where he has an opportunity to win $10,000. Bill Tucker earned $2,000 in finishing fourth. The man that loses this match will get $3,000. So it's important to get into the final. Dick Weber shooting first. Leaving the 610, which has not been uncommon here today. I'd say lanes are about as cold as the temperature was at 1 or 2 this morning. Of course, I wasn't awake at that hour, but they told me it was 15 below, Billy.
It was, Chris.
Oh, you were out?
I was trying to hustle my car back. It froze up last night.
So Dick Weber, 17 times the PBA champion, is marked with a spare. And now Bob Knipple, who won his first match over Bill Tucker, bowling at 225, shooting on lane 62.
A gentle little trip forward.
Well, Bob Knipple, 11 more, and we'll give you an additional $10,000.
He might need 11 more. And Weber's just liable to go the wire because he's like a caged lion. He wants to win so badly today he can taste it, he told me.
High, leaving the 6 pin on lane 61. You just joined us. This PBA tour stop is in Wauwatosa, a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's live on ABC television.
Tough break for Al Savas. We're in his hometown, and he had a previous commitment this week prior to the tournament dates and didn't even get to play here.
Bob Knipple can rest with a strike and a spare. Now Dick Weber, who opened with a spare, shooting in the second frame. Father of 4. Powerhouse strike by the 130-pound champion Dick Weber, who has 17 titles. He's never failed to win at least one title in the 8 previous seasons since the PBA was started in 1959 by you, Billy, and Don Carter, and Dick Weber, and Eddie Elias, and a host of other veterans. Four-pin. We could name a lot of veterans that were in on the inception, including the late Steve Nagy. A lot of people.
Johnny Clares. In fact, we met in the basement of his bowling lanes for our very first meeting.
Weber going for the 4-pin, and has it. So for Dick Weber, it's a spare strike spare. It's the 3rd match, and there is Juanita Weber, the mother of those 4 Weber children. Bob Knipple, working on a spare. "24 years old," giving me a little reminder of a fellow named Tim Harahan. These young boys are really coming along.
There you see it, all even, Chris. They're both hitting lane 62 well. They've both been high on lane 61.
Going for a double. A 4-pin for Bob Knipple. He really wanted that double.
Really did. He'd like to get the jump on Weber. You can almost feel the tension mounting, Chris, with every frame. The crowd is becoming more quiet. They know this young man is against a seasoned veteran.
Ooh. Just made the 4-pin, and look at that expression. Dick Weber in the pivotal match before the championship match. It's all even. He and Bob Knipple working on a spare. Those are, or that is a reason, the many that have made this fellow Bowler of the Year 3 times, won the All-Star 4 times in the last 5 years, won the National Doubles Crown 4 times with his partner Ray Bluth. And, Billy, didn't Ray have a big game here in this tournament?
Right, Chris. He had the 300 game, perfect game, the only one of the tournament.
High, leaving the 3-6. Speaking of 300s, Dick Weber has had 15 sanctioned 300s. Billy, out of curiosity, how many have you had?
Chris, I've had 3 sanctioned. I've had 25 over the years in exhibition or practice or match games.
It must be fun.
It's always exciting, and it's always still nervous in the 10th frame, no matter how many you might bowl.
Right. Now Bob Knipple, shooting in the 5th frame, working on a spare. All flat even, as you see. If you lose here, you get $3,000. If you win, you got a chance for $10,000 in the next game. Bobby Knipple did not like his release at the line. Might have stuck there a little bit, leaving the 6-10.
Right, Chris, he got to the line a little fast, and his body had to turn to keep from going over the line. And in turning, the arm swing pulls inside your line.
You know, following today's competition, it's Wide World of Sports. International surfing, international ski jumping, special presentation to the executive director of the USGA, Joe Dye, and also Jim Ryan setting a new world's indoor record for the half mile. And there'll be women's world speed skating also. What variety. 7-pin for Bob Knipple. Tight battle.
He gave it a little room for the first time. You see, the boys aren't putting it wide, Chris. If you put it wide here, it'll really slide. The boys have all been playing inside the second arrow, some in as deep as the fourth arrow.
3 pins separate these two bowlers. Now Dick Weber working on a spare, shooting in the 6th frame. A 4-pin. Juanita Weber.
Using great speed, Chris. He's really attacking on lane 62. On lane 61, he's been laying it short. He's a little afraid of the lane. And I would think that he'd probably go to the speed this time on lane 61. It's getting late. The Weber special ought to be coming up. There you see, he's taking his position. He's studying his line out for this shot.
Stylist Dick Weber. A 10-pin for Dick Weber, and he can't believe it.
He went to the speed, Chris, to hold that pocket line. Here you see the leverage. We talk about the speed and the leverage in the swing. Watch where he gets it. There you see that long reach, the body triggered low. This sets the maximum leverage for the weight of that ball to swing forward.
Back live. So it's another spare for Dick Weber in this 3rd match. The winner goes into the finals against leading money winner Dave Davis. Here is Bob Knipple, who's earned $2,900 on the tour thus far this year with a 2nd place finish in the San Jose telecast.
1 pin difference, Chris.
Leaving the 4-7.
When you spoke of this being the pivotal match, it very definitely is. The crowd knows it. The bowlers know it. All of a sudden, Nipple is starting to be a little careful.
Almost blew one on lane 62. 3 pins separating these two. And we're going into the 8th frame. The winner of this match goes into the finals. Dave Davis, way off on the right, is keeping warm. He is the tournament leader. With a pocket hit. What a match. Dick Weber, 17 times PBA champion, leads by 3 pins. He is now shooting in the 8th frame, working on a spare. The winner of this match goes into the finals worth $10,000.
A lot of confidence on lane 62, Chris. Had a good hit on lane 61 the last time. He went to the speed to hold the pocket. It cost him the tap on the 10. But he's got to be satisfied with the accuracy.
The unmentioning is the winner of this match goes into the finals worth $10,000. I remember Harold Cushenberry, the director of marketing for Miller High Life last year, said he was going to give the winner $1 million on television.
He went to the speed again.
Left the 4-pin.
And going to the speed, getting that full swing, he caught a little extra fingers that time, and the ball really finished in the last 3 or 4 feet. Left that 4.
Cross lane. And he has it. The 9th frame is spare for Dick Weber. Now Bob Knipple will shoot in the 9th. He has a strike up. And it's still 3 pins.
Chris, this ball is perhaps the most important of the game for Bob Knipple. He has a strike up. He's bowled well on lane 62. He could take the lead right here.
Wrapping around the 10-pin, and it stands oh so firmly as we look at Dick Weber. Bob Knipple, 24-year-older from Long Beach, California. In this 3rd match, trailing by 3, cross lane for the 10.
covers it well. Going to the final frame, down by 3. Assuming that Weber will mark, he must double. Gives it room, Chris.
A 10th frame strike for Bob Knipple, who downed Bill Tucker, who in a previous game, Tucker had defeated Bud Horn in this live competition from Wauwatosa. Now it's a battle with Dick Weber for the finals against Dave Davis, the leading money winner, back-to-back PBA titles already this year for Davis.
Knipple can take the lead if he strikes here. Chris, I'm going to tell you, this boy's showing a lot of class right now. In the face of $10,000, in the face of Dick Weber, he has just pumped in a double.
There could be a difference of $7,000 of losing or winning. That is a part of the pressure that Billy was talking about. Wow. 3 in a row at the end. Fantastic performance by 24-year-old Bob Knipple, as ABC Stop Action shows you.
There's how much the ball is rolling. It blows the 5, goes over and gets the 7. Now Weber, down by 7, has to strike on this ball.
He, of course, did not strike on that ball, leaving the 6 and the 7. So, being the great champion that he is, he tried to convert that 6-7, gives Bobby Knipple a handshake, indicating victory. 205 to 185 for a 24-year-old competitor from Long Beach, Bob Knipple. So going into the finals of the Miller High Life Open, it will be Bob Knipple going against Dave Davis. Back again, ladies and gentlemen, at the Bolero Lanes in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And as we await the big match between youthful Bob Knipple and also youthful Dave Davis, it's that time of the year to honor the 2 finest bowlers of last year. And I wish this would happen more often, because each week Billy and I are confronted with nothing but men on this telecast. Because today it's a pleasure with Joy Abel, the female bowler of the year, about to be awarded. And Joy, I'd like for you to come in and say hello. Congratulations.
Chris, thank you very much. It's nice being here.
This is a champion from Chicago, Illinois. And let's give her a nice round of applause.
Thanks, Chris. Real nice to be here.
And to give you the bowling's highest honor, the president of the Bowling Writers Association of America from Flint, Michigan, is Frank Stefanski. And Frank, if you'll come in quick. Turn that way. We want all the people in Flint to
Congratulations, Joy. On behalf of the Bowling Writers Association of America, it gives me a great privilege and a pleasure to present you with the Bowler of the Year Award.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks very much. I'd like to thank the Bowling Writers Association for this lovely trophy, and I'm deeply honored that I was selected Bowler of the Year. Thank you so much.
Young lady, you deserved it.
Thank you, Chris.
Joy Abel of Chicago, Illinois. And now, a native getting this award in his own backyard, although he bowls out of Atlanta, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the male bowler of the year, Wayne Zahn. Wayne, quickly. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Frank Stefanski, you come back here and do the same job all over again.
I rehearsed this for 2 weeks, and on behalf of the Bowling Writers Association, it's a pleasure to be in Milwaukee. and to present to a Milwaukeean the Bowler of the Year award from the Bowling Writers Association of America. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank
Terrific.
you.
Nice going, Wayne.
I'd like to thank the Bowling Writers of America for giving me this great honor, and it's a special honor for me to get it back here in my hometown.
It sure is.
Thank you.
Nice going, Wayne. Now, quickly, a man that in San Jose, California, sometimes sports announcers are called windy. And fortunately, it doesn't happen too often with me, but here's a guy that is truly windy. Now, I want to tell you about Bob Knipple. He's a wonderful 24-year-old bowler, as you saw, from Long Beach, California. And he's so pleasant to interview because he talks so much. Bob, what do you have to say about that, downing another champion?
I just hope the luck keeps on going my way.
Well, the way you struck out with 3 in a row, that showed me that you're finally on your game today, right?
A little better now.
Okay, talkative Bob. Good luck, bowler. Now, Dave Davis from Phoenix, Arizona, the tournament leader. Dave, I noticed you were bowling a little bit more than usual while you're waiting in the wings over here. Is it because of the temperature outside?
No, because my knees are shaking. I got to keep them still.
Well, I know you will because you've won 2 tournaments already this year, and Bob's going to be a mighty worthy opponent. So good luck to you and Bob in the finals.
Thank you, Chris.
Dave Davis. The top 16 finished in the Miller High Life Open. You see the top 5 as we are now down to Bob Knipple and Dave Davis in the final.
And then, of course, the alternate, Jim St. John, Jim Godman, Teddy Hoffman, who was second here last year, Dave Sutar, our statistician today, Harry Smith, Tommy Tuttle, Jimmy Certain, who we'll all remember from last week, Kurt Schmidt from Fort Wayne, Bob Strampy, Bob McMillan, and the king of the 4-pin trips, Pete Thomas, who won the battle for the 16th spot.
And, of course, all of them made a considerable amount of money. Right now, Billy, the pressure is on 24-year-old Bob Knipple, who has advanced, beating Bill Tucker, then beating Dick Weber. And now he has only one more game left, and that is against the tournament leader, Dave Davis, the southpaw from Phoenix, Arizona. The winner of this match will get $10,000, the loser $5,000. There's the handshake, and here we go into the finals.
There you see Dave, very deliberate player.
You noticed a little motion down on the right of the lanes here, and like the young pro that he is, only 24 years old, he just paused, walked off the approach, and now he's ready. The left-hander, 6'2", 160 pounds. You know, as he told me in the interview that his knees were knocking or shaking, I don't think so.
Well, Chris, he's a very cool performer, and with a swing like that, he's never in great trouble. He might find a week where he can't get his timing right or he can't adjust to the angle for him on that condition. But when he finds that angle, he's never too far away from the pocket.
Bob Knipple, first stroke. It's the 410 for Bob Knipple of Long Beach, California.
Tough break for Bobby just starting out, especially with Dave with a strike up. So oftentimes when a player will get a split, and he's going to go for it boldly.
Capacity crowd here at the Bolero Lanes truly believed, with the ball 3/4 of the way there, that he was going to convert it. It's an open. Now over to lane 61, shooting in the second frame.
He's quickly down by 11. And as we mentioned so often, when you have an open, your opponent will come back with a double.
Came up just a little high, but still gets his strike. Bob Knipple, 24 years old, and so is his opponent, Dave Davis. Here's Dave Davis, the tournament leader, the leading money winner with $16,470 thus far this year, going for a double. leaving the 6-pin on lane 62.
And that was it, Chris. He really wanted to get that double and get that jump. He reached out on that ball and gave it those extra fingers, which made the ball break a little sharper than he would like. Dave gets an awful lot of power in the shot, Chris, from that long arm and the free swing.
This is the boy that won the PBA National Championship in 1965. He's won at Salt Lake. He has 4 PBA championships, including back-to-back wins this year at Las Vegas and at Denver.
You see how carefully he sets himself.
Powerful. You're looking at Dave Davis, tall and lanky. Short and powerful is Bob Knipple, his opponent, as they go for the $10,000 first prize. Difference of 5, winning or losing. Difference of 11 pins at the moment. The 7-pin.
Well, he wanted that double badly to get right back to even. Bobby, of course, not having won a tournament, would very much like to win this game and then automatically be qualified for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. So this game could be a $35,000 game.
Tournament champions will be televised, the finals, on April 1st, live and in color from Akron, Ohio. Next week, it'll be the Ebonite Open from Edison Lanes, then the Buffalo Open from Depew, New York, and then the Tampa Bay Open from Tampa, the Mobile Open from that Alabama city.
And at Mobile, after the tournament, they're having a National Celebrity Pro-Am.
High again. It's the 6-pin for Bob Knipple. This is the final match. The first match, if you just joined us, was between Bill Tucker and Bud Horn, Tucker winning it. Tucker then moved in against Bob Knipple and was defeated. Knipple then moved up against the number 2 finisher, Dick Weber, beat him. Knipple has 2 games, 225 and 205. And now he's going against the tournament leader, Dave Davis. There you see Davis's lead. Davis was 9th last week in Toledo. And it's a double for Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona. Father of 1. That was Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Davis has to be one of the most ardent rooters of a husband of any female I've ever seen. Oh, she's in there cheering every minute.
Right, when he released the ball that time, she said, hurry. She didn't think the hook would get back.
The 1, 5, and the 8 remain standing. Correction, the 3, 5, and the 9. I'll get it right yet. 1, 3, and 9. About that 20-20, Billy.
Well, Chris, when the left-hander comes in, automatically you've got to do a little transposing.
Yeah. Nevertheless, Dave Davis did cover those 3 pins, and he stays clean this final game with a spare in the 5th. Now it's Bob Knipple, who opened in the 1st and a strike, 2 spares, now shooting in the 5th. Big strike for Bob Knipple. "19 pins separating these 2 bowlers. Trailing is Bob Knipple. Yes, we're live from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
got a lucky break there, Chris. Again, going too direct and a little slow on that lane. Breaks up that split. Very fortunate. Being behind, he could have gone back to 30 pins behind. It's getting late in the match, already into the 6th frame. Dave with a 19-pin lead. Reaches out strong. Too strong again, Chris. Got a lot of lift, and it made the ball break way too sharp.
So things will tighten up here as a result of that 4-6. If we were in color, you could see a brilliant orange shirt. We're not in color, but we're sure live.
Goes for the 1. Cuts his margin to 6 pins.
This is the final match, worth $10,000 to the winner. The loser, $5,000.
The place is becoming very quiet. As we reach the final frames, you can hear a pin drop.
Leaving the 7-pin. ABC stop action of that last stroke by Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona.
You're going to see a lot of power. The ball comes sweeping into the pocket, but from that wide angle, the 4-pin does not come back off. It lays down and leaves a 7.
Dave Davis waited in the wings for the first 3 matches as a result of his having bowled 40 games better than any of all the professional competitors here in the Miller High Life Open. Finishing last night as the tournament leader with Weber 2nd, Knipple 3rd, Horn 4th, and Bill Tucker 5th. Knipple now has won 2 matches and is in the finals against Davis. The 7-pin for Bobby Knipple. Since Bobby is making his first extended tour of the PBA this year, since San Jose, Bill, I have noticed a great deal of confidence in him. He has gained a great deal in a few tournaments.
Chris, when you get up against the top players in the game for that much money and on network television, and you survive the pressure, you get great experience, and in the future weeks you benefit from that experience.
Which could go into the amateur ranks or the people that bowl for recreation or just fun. The more they bowl, the better they'll get.
That's right, Chris.
So get out there and bowl.
Not much trouble there, Chris. The 2-pin, those single pins, the boys don't miss too often.
Another spare for Bobby Knipple coming in the 8th frame. Dave Davis opened with a strike, then a spare, a double, a spare unopened, and a spare. And there you see his lead, ever so small when you consider the difference of winning or losing. $5,000 here. The 6-pin, Dave Davis.
Chris, evidently lane 62 finishes a little more for Dave from the opposite side because he shows a little fear of the hook on the ball when he releases it. That time he was showing some emotion that the ball might leave him another split. Left-handers have it pretty much their own way over on that left-hand side, Chris. Since there's very little play, they have to change their angles very little. On the right-hand side, the boys have to stay pretty much in that track, and since there's more play, the lane conditions vary more.
Billy, how many left-handers are there on the tour actively?
Well, we've got about 20 from week to week. We have about 8 or 9 regular touring left-handers now.
Dave Davis getting a strike in that ninth frame. And now Bob Knipple is off the bench. He'll be shooting in the ninth. This, the final match, and it's live from Wauwatosa, a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Late in the game, he's going to work again, Chris. Down by 7.
You'll recall that in his previous match against Dick Weber, he just bowled 3 strikes to end it all.
And he's finishing on the same lane in the 10th frame that he finished on against Weber.
Right.
Both have a strike in the 9th, 7 pins down.
The 2, the 4, and the 5 for Bob Knipple on lane 61.
Well, Chris, trust is a must or your game is a bust. And trust he did, but he didn't get the good fingers.
There you see the 2, 4, 5.
He really did want an open frame there. Now he still has a chance to win. If he counts well on this ball, then Dave Davis needs to mark in the 10th. There you see it. Bob Knipple down by 7.
Hyde leaving the 6 pin. And the people here in Wisconsin greatly appreciate Bob Knipple's efforts. A 185 here in the final game against Dave Davis.
Chris, Dave needs a mark.
He has not yet received the mark as we look at Mrs. Dave Davis.
Chris, it's the same spare that Knipple had. That's the 3, the 5, and the 6 for the left-hander, the 2, 4, 5 for the right-hander, in the same danger. If the ball hooks through there too much, he could leave the 5. But he didn't want to go through the nose, only needing a mark.
Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona. Little worried whether he would catch the 3, 5, and the 6. But needless to say, he did, and he marked in that 10th frame. Immediately following Pro Bowlers Tour, it'll be international surfing from Makaha Beach, international ski jumping from Garmisch, Germany, a special presentation to Joe Dye of the USGA by the New York Metropolitan Golf Writers Association. Jim Ryan setting a new world's indoor record for the half mile and world speed skating. All this on Wide World of Sports, and all that in the final match. As you see, it's a 7-pin victory for Dave Davis. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. Dave Davis has won his 3rd PBA championship this year, but not until he'd had a hard battle from this likable guy from Long Beach, California. And for losing Bobby, this is not a bad payday, $5,000. There it is.
Thank you, Chris. I want to say Dave Davis is one of the greatest bowlers that I've ever known. Thank you.
You're very gracious. Bobby Knipple of Long Beach, California. And now let's meet the Miller High Life Open winner, Dave Davis. Nice going. Mr. Charles Miller, the Chief Executive Officer of the Miller Brewing Company, is here with a lot in his hand. Mr. Miller?
Pleasure. Pleasure indeed, Dave. It's a great situation that we can give you this $10,000 in the champagne bucket from the champagne beer. It's cashable. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I'd just like to thank the Miller High Life Company and the people here at Bolero Lanes for sponsoring the tournament. Chris, it's a pleasure being here. Really.
Good luck, Dave, and congratulations. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And here we'd like to thank our executive producer on Pro Bowlers Tour, Rune Arledge. Also, our thanks to the executive director of the Pro Bowlers Tour, Eddie Elias. and of the Bolero Lanes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The prize monies were furnished by the PBA and the Miller Brewing Company and the Bowling Proprietors Association of Milwaukee. Our next stop on Pro Bowlers Tour is Edison, New Jersey, and ABC Sports will be bringing you the final rounds of another great PBA tournament, the Ebonite Open. That is 1 week from today. The executive producer of Pro Bowlers Tour is Rune Arledge. The Miller High Life Open was produced by Ned Steckel and directed by Mike Friedman. Associate Director Ed Nadell. Technical Director Walt Kubelis. Lighting Director Tony Azzolino. And now this is Chris Schenkel speaking, saying so long for Billy Waylew and myself.